rewind back, way back with a slightly unfair question, which is, when do you think, way back when, that you first thought, hang on, I might be a little bit famous?
For some reason, I want to say maybe in a petrol station. And then it's that weird thing of being like ultra paranoid that people are looking and not quite understanding why you're being stared at. Mm-hmm. I feel like that might have been like Emmerdale days, actually.
Go on the side for that band. No, I can't. They've all got the tops off. Actually, go mad if you thought you'd seen something as simple as that.
I remember Stephen Moffat on Doctor Who, you know, like pre the San Diego convention, and he was like, we were still filming and I don't think my stuff was out on screen yet, and he was like, prepare yourself, you know, your life is gonna really change. And I think I was just really adamant. I was like, nah, no, you know, like, as in kind of be quite robotic about it. Like, this is just normal, you know, this is completely Hall H and, you know, like Doctor Who fans everywhere. In my head, I was just like, this is just normal. And I think it's not until you leave Doctor Who, you're like, oh God, that is not normal.
I've been in that room and it is like a sea of people, like 3 different people dressed as an actual TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's very hard to wrap your head around. I had a weird moment earlier this year. We've all been eccentric this year, but I was looking at those Comic-Con photo opportunity things.
Yeah.
Where people can meet you and then they take a photograph. And you've got some of the sweetest ones, like a double thumbs up type photographs. What's it like when you meet these super happy people who are just in your presence going, and you're like, I'm just a person, I promise?
I don't, it's that really strange thing, because you're kind of, I have to say, like, for me, particularly when Peter's there, Peter Capaldi or Matt Smith, and the doctor's there, and you just see like a little kid or like a little 6-year-old or like 10-year-old, and they look at them like, oh my God, I'm meeting my hero. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm scanning you. You're on another of the escape pods from the Alaska, right? Same ship I was on.
Wait, how can you hack into everything? It should be impossible. You're in a crashed ship.
Long story.
From that Doctor Who era, are there lines of technobabble, of just sci-fi flim-flam that you will never forget because they were so hard to get in your brain and out again?
I'm trying to think if I had much of that.
So, Doctor, I've been looking you up. You're all over the database. Why did the Daleks call you the Predator?
I'm not a predator, just a man with a plan.
No, the Doctor had all the sci-fi stuff.
Now, the coordinates you saw will still be in your memory. I'm linking you into the TARDIS telepathic circuit. Won't hurt a bit.
Ow!
I lied.
And you were just like...
I had like the questions.
But you're not going to. You just said it's one place you must never go.
Explain that again, but like in English. Awesome. Yeah. Love that. Do you ever get people in the street who just forget that you have your own name and just call you Clara?
Sometimes, yeah.
Clara!
Well, it might be Clara, it might not be.
A Deliveroo guy.
No.
I was in a hotel as well. I went open the door and he just was like, Clara? I was like in my dressing gown as well. So a few like things like that. But then you forget, and then you kind of go, oh yeah, I forgot. Sure.
Yeah. I've got your Lambooner, Clara. What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A question I like to ask people is a classic one, but I just can't resist. But what mementos have you kept throughout your career? You've appeared in such amazing things with these big budgets and loads of knickknacks and all the rest of it. What are the things you've taken home?
Does it work if I show you something?
I'd love it. Yeah, please.
See, this is what I've actually never had, because you talk, obviously you don't usually do interviews at home, but let me show you. This is pretty epic.
Oh, I can already tell.
A piece of the TARDIS. So I did get permission from props, to be fair. But there's loads of things. I mean, and a clockwork squirrel. That's random. That was from Doctor Who.
Clara, why don't I have a radio in the TARDIS?
You took it apart and used the pieces to make a clockwork squirrel.
I tried to steal. This is really good, actually. This is Charles Sabrage and Marie-Andrée on the front page of for being wanted worldwide.
That is so surreal.
Kind of wondered if I should do that as a Christmas card this year.
That would be so dark. I'd love it. I saw in an article somewhere that you learnt how to ride side saddle, and what else did you do? Oh, you had to wear contact lenses and had to do the waltz and all the rest for Queen Victoria. So this leads me to one of my favorite questions, which is, what skills have you learned throughout your career that you wouldn't have otherwise have learned if you hadn't been in those roles?
Yeah, side saddle. But it means I can't ride normal, which is kind of not very useful. Obviously certain waltzes. I had to do a little bit of German opera. That was also for Victoria. A Doctor Who, I just said, like, I don't know what, I always got hung upside down. It's like, in terms of the stunts, it was kind of constantly either being, I don't know what, Stephen Moffat, but I've got so many pictures from that set of me literally like dangling upside down from things.
Why are you sharpening that stick?
Well, I've no idea how long we're going to be stuck out here. Might have to go hunting.
So, why am I tied up?
In case there's nothing to hunt.
I don't quite know if that's a skill.
Our home is Bangkok, but next summer we'll open offices in Paris and Zurich.
I must say, this role in The Serpent does feel a little bit like you're acting on hard mode. Not only are you speaking with a French accent, it's actually Québécois, right?
Yeah.
And it's a period drama. And I don't know, how can I put this? You have to actually speak in French on occasion. So is it fair enough to say this is one of the trickier roles you've taken on?
Yes. I really did not believe they were going to cast me, because obviously I was like, you would obviously cast a French person, but you know, it's Tahar Rahim and the story's amazing. Like, of course I'm going to take this meeting. Of course I'll go in and meet Tom, but of course you're not going to cast me, because that would be mental. But they did, and I flew to Bangkok and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
You've made a huge mistake. How do I learn lines in English and French?
Yeah.
The day he gave up military campaigns for fashion campaigns was a great relief. I'm telling you, you know?
Like, what have I got myself into, particularly as when you do the research, and I didn't know anything about this story, and that may be just reflecting my ignorance or my age, but I just cannot understand how you can do the research on a character, on a person who's constantly lying.
Yeah.
My mother, so she can see you, see how well we're doing together.
Yeah.
Where do you begin? Where do you find the character?
Well, to be honest, the scripts first got sent to me, the first 6 episodes, so you could read it like a real, like, episode to episode page turner. And then with her statement, the real life photographs, and I'd never heard about this story before. Okay. And because obviously we almost meet Monique first, this kind of like almost this kind of alter ego that she plays, before we meet Marie-Andrée, the kind of the real girl. Kind of putting those two characters together, and how in the space of only a few weeks, effectively in real life, like Marie-Andrée becomes Monique, and how she kind of gets sucked into this mad world and lives in this state of delusion, and trying to kind of psychologically understand how she's got herself in that place, and how she can get herself in the headspace to allow herself to remain in it. Yeah. I just found it real, like, psychologically really fascinating.
We just got back. You must let us buy you dinner. And
is it easy or hard to have fun on sets like this?
Yeah, I think so. It's the same with The Cry as well. Like, I found if I've done my research, when something's really dark, I kind of need more of the lightness in between the scenes, because otherwise it's like kind of like walking through mud. And it's, you know, if once you do a take and it's really heavy and really dark, or if you need that kind of space, then music is kind of always, dig into music. And then, but yeah, otherwise I just find it drags you too far down sometimes.
I wonder if the opposite is true though. Say when you're in a big party scene in that, moment where you appear in Captain America, I worry whether that's actually a real drag, because resetting every one of those shots is like,
oh my God, do you know what I do remember about that? So obviously that was like one of my first, for me, I turned up and did nothing basically, but I got to be there and kind of like see, a big set like that, how the cameras work and like what was going on. But it was quite a big camera move, and I had to walk and kind of like walk straight up to the front. And all I remember is I clearly didn't find my mark. So on one of the takes, all I could feel like I was looking at I think it was Dom Cooper, like trying to act.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that in just a few short years...
And then someone was slapping my leg, like at the bottom. And I think what they were saying was, you're obviously you're not on your mark. But the reset was so big that someone was like just tapping me along to get to my mark. I don't know if I was like blocking the actors behind me or something, but I just remember being like, is this normal? But obviously the reset was huge.
I was going to ask you, what has been your most memorable bit of direction ever? And I've got to say, being tapped on the leg has to be one of them, right?
Yeah, just no words. Just literally get to your mark.
Hey, Steve, what do you say we treat these girls?
Jenna, thank you so much for talking to us about The Serpent and the rest of your amazing career. And hopefully see you soon, possibly not for The Serpent 2, but for your next amazing project.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up to date. You can listen to my Radio 1 movies and TV podcast, Screen Time, on BBC Sounds. And you can find these interviews in full on BBC iPlayer by searching Movies with Ali Plumb.